Liebe Zuschauer, herzlich willkommen zum Nasdaq Report hier aus der Technologiebörse am New Yorker Times Square. Ich bin Manuel Koch und bei mir ist Stephen Guilfoyle. Er ist der Chief Economist von Sarge986.com. Welcome, thank you so much for joining us.
I'm grateful to be here. Thank you for having me.
Stephen, we see the US markets after a little pullback after the Fed decision last week are maybe going a little bit up and down. What's the trend? More going down?
Well, right now, there's two uncertainties facing the market right now, so a lot of people don't really know what to do. We have the Federal Reserve uncertainty, and we have the budget/debt ceiling uncertainty in Washington. And whenever there's uncertainty, the markets are never comfortable with it. So here we are, heading into the later part of this week, waiting to see what the Senate does with what the House sent them, and waiting to see what the Senate sends the House, and if this House will have time to respond before Monday night's deadline.
Jack Lew, the Treasury Secretary, said October 17th. That's the date, and they have to negotiate before. Do you think everything will be decided in the last second?
If it is decided on time, it will be in the last second. I'm starting to lose a little confidence that they'll actually solve things in time. I think we may actually test some orders that we have never really tested before. So I think we may go past the deadline. That still leaves us 2 weeks before we run out of money. Now, will they maybe find a way to extend the deadline? That's fully possible. So we're not at a point yet where we have to panic, but these guys really should be working hard.
What could happen in this case? Couldn't they pay the salaries of policemen, fire workers, army service people? What could be the next step?
Well, in terms of readiness, the military will not leave their posts. I mean, they'll be fine, but they will have to furlough the civilian employees associated with the military. As far as the economy goes, you'll see old people not get their checks. You'll see people on disability not get their checks. The people that really need it the most will probably be hurt the most, and that's a real negative. If we actually shut down the government and don't meet our obligations, then you might see a downgrade from the credit agencies. That doesn't always have the consequences you expect, but we will see something like that. And you might see interest rates fluctuate wildly in the short term. So there are definitely consequences that we would like to avoid.
So when we see this and also the Fed talks, do you think the markets are going down the next weeks?
You know, maybe not the next weeks, but for this late part of September, early part of October, I think you have to be wary of it. There's certainly a chance that you will have some volatility here, and it will be negative volatility. In the long term, if we hurdle this, okay, and if the Federal Reserve keeps not tapering their asset purchases, then I think the asset markets will probably be fine in the long run. I don't know why they wouldn't be.
Early this year, many experts said we will see new all-time highs in the end of the year. Is this already over, or could we see that?
No, you can still see that. I mean, this is only October. If we get past, like I said, the debt problem, the budget problem with relatively little pain, and if Janet Yellen is expected to be the next chair at the Federal Reserve, then I think you will expect to see highs going into the December-January part of the season.
As a small investor, where should I put my money in at the moment?
Well, I'll tell you where not to put it first, okay? Well, I'm not telling you where not to put it. I'm telling you where I'm not going to put it, all right? I'm a little bit afraid of the financials right now. There's too much Basel III out there. There's too much Dodd-Frank. There's too much regulation. I'm not playing the financials. I'm also not playing the REITs because I don't trust interest rates right now. So those are two areas I'm staying away from. I am, however, very interested in the transports because I think oil is getting cheaper right now. And I think it's an area that's been a front runner for a year and a half, and I see no reason why, if oil is cheap, it would not continue.
Maybe Syria could change it a little bit?
It sure could, but you know, it sounds like we're not going to do anything violent in Syria. And now it sounds like even Iran wants to play nice. So if these things are true, then I think transports are my best bet anyway.
We hear some rumors that maybe Alibaba is coming to New York and is having its IPO here. Do you think this would be a great thing for maybe the Nasdaq or the New York Stock Exchange?
Well, it certainly would be. I mean, I think Sina is also tied up with Alibaba to a great degree. And Hong Kong is going to have something to say about that. I'm sure China doesn't want them to come here. So they're going to talk to Hong Kong. They're going to talk to the Nasdaq. They're going to talk to the New York. And it's probably going to be a three-way fight to see who gets the primary listing. And I don't know how to handicap that race.
Did maybe Twitter started this, that more companies, tech companies, are interested to go public?
Well, you know, I guess Facebook started it, and people probably learned from Facebook what to do and what not to do. Twitter was very shrewd about this whole thing. They waited it out. Now it's, I mean, everybody I know tweets. Twitter's very popular. If they can turn that into a large revenue producer, which it seems like they're on their way, well, yeah, I mean, why wouldn't they go public at this point?
We also, when we talk about the techs, see Facebook at the moment going up and up and up. Is this like the limit, or could the stock go higher?
You know, social media has taken it on a life of its own. I mean, like you have Sina Weibo over in China. You have LinkedIn, which is a very nice business here in the U.S. You have Twitter. You have Facebook. I don't know how much room there is for tertiary players in the social media space, but these leaders certainly have a nice business, and the sky is probably the limit.
Stephen Guilfoyle, thank you so much. Appreciate your time. Der Chefökonom von Sarge986.com. Wenn Sie nachschauen wollen, gerne empfehlen wir diese Webseite und auch www.drf.fm. Genauso auf unserer Webseite sehen Sie viele weitere Informationen. Bis zum nächsten Mal. Ciao.